Welcome to the Rust Belt Sports playoff picture bracket, I guess you would say. Prediction.
Yep.
We're going to give our take on where we're at week 12. We're
Week
getting a
12.
little more clear picture
Yep,
where we're going to be.
This will be AFC only.
We'll do it separate for the NFC.
Absolutely, you can't do one without the other.
And then I think at the end of we'll give our who we think is going to be the AFC champ.
Yep.
And then in the NFC, we'll talk about the NFC champ. And in that video, we'll say our Super Bowl prediction, maybe?
Absolutely.
Sounds good to me.
All right. You mind if I start?
Go right ahead.
So I think the playoff picture, it's going to be Ravens number 1 seed.
Oh, okay. All right.
Absolutely. Chiefs number 2 seed.
All right.
You know what? The only reason I have that over is they just don't have the wide receiver room for Patrick Mahomes. I understand Rashee Rice is really stepping up, but even then, you know what? One player is not going to cut it for you out of 4 that you need. I think the Dolphins will take number 3. All right. I think Jacksonville will probably take 4. I think the Steelers will probably take number 5. Not that they're playing better without Matt Canada. They finally did it. Let me see here. Honestly, I'm going to put the Browns in there, of course.
What number, though? Yeah, 5.
I'll give them 7. I'll give them 7. So for number 6, I know the Colts are doing well. I know the Texans are doing well. I know the Broncos are doing well. I know the Broncos are 3rd in their division, but I think I will give it to the Broncos.
Okay.
Only because, the Texans, I just see them not progressing as well as the Broncos are progressing right now. And Minshew Mania is running high with the Colts, but I also see the Colts not doing as well as the Broncos. So I think that'll round off my top 7 prediction. Ravens 1, Chiefs 2, Dolphins 3, Jaguars 4, Steelers 5, Broncos 6, because I definitely think the Broncos beat the Raiders in their division this year. And I'll give it to the Browns if they can get their things together. And I'll put the 2 on the hunt at Texans and Colts.
Okay.
I think that's pretty fair to them.
Yeah,
honestly.
I
and
agree.
You know what? That Houston game, that Jacksonville game, it'll really determine a bit more for how I feel about this prediction.
Understandable.
Yep.
I'll give mine. Right now, I still have to go the Chiefs at number 1.
Okay.
I know they don't have the wide receiver room, but I will give them credit. The defense has been way better this year, and I've always said the Chiefs, if they could ever figure out that defense, it takes them to the next level. And they always seem to win. Let's be honest. They always do. So I got the Chiefs still at number 1. Number 2, I am going to Ravens.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Ravens have just absolutely shown this year they're dominant.
Yep.
They have losses to us, but they also whooped us. They're a dominant team.
A very dominant team.
Big asterisk here, though, if Lamar Jackson stays healthy.
Yep, and if Mark Andrews is out, but likely is actually playing pretty well without.
Yeah. And my thing is with that, Lamar's only played over 12 games, and I don't even think he's 1 season maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll see how Lamar is. If Lamar makes it to playoffs and plays in the playoffs,
healthy,
I think the Ravens are a completely different animal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll give my take on that a little later. For number 3, I'm gonna go with the Jaguars. I think they're heating up a little bit. I think they're trying to piece it together fully. They're still working on it, but if they can piece that fully together, I see them as a solid 3rd.
That is
the Houston game was a big one for them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it should have been tied if you wouldn't have doinked it off the field goal post, but it's football.
Hey, it happens.
So that's where I'm at with that one. For number 4, hard not to give it to the Dolphins here.
Absolutely.
They got that electric offense. I thought they start slowing down. They're not slowing down yet.
No, they're not.
So they might have broken that curse finally.
Hopefully.
Number 5 is tricky for me. Honestly, 5, 6, and 7 are all
there are
difficult.
5 teams just right there with each other.
And as much as I want to put the Steelers at 5, it's tough because they got that defense, but we've only seen 1 week of them actually having an offense.
Yep.
And Kenny Pickett still doesn't
even
look
without
that
an offense, they had a winning record.
Yeah, and I'm putting them above the Browns
right
now just because I think they're healthier, which is the big thing. So if I'm going to put them on there, I'm putting them at 5.
Okay.
And I think to go with 6, this is where I got my 7 locked.
Yeah.
6 is tough for me. If I had to go with it, one part of me wants to say the Broncos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the Broncos are just so
that
hot
heater,
right now.
That heater is so good.
But then I remember the beginning of the season. I know it's a big
Yeah.
difference, but at the same time, you can't just look past that.
No, you can't.
There's glimpses of them in there somewhere, and they're just hiding right now.
Yep.
And I love Houston.
It's hard to not root for Houston. You know, just like the Lions in the NFC, it's one of those teams that when they win, you actually go, good.
Yeah, and honestly, I got to put Houston at 6 here.
Dude, okay.
Houston just, that passing offense is elite.
So
Tank Dell and C.J. Stroud.
Who knew?
Is an elite like combination, and I think that's what's going to carry them. Singletary also has been coming alive.
Absolutely. It was only a matter of time.
To me, if they keep figuring this out and piecing together, every week they look stronger and stronger. They went out there against Jacksonville, and they almost won, and Jacksonville's playing good ball.
They are playing real good ball.
So, to me, they're not a defensive team. They're an offensive team.
Absolutely.
And they got an offense to just run away.
Absolutely.
So, I got to put them at 6. Number 7, it's a big, big if. It's the Browns if they return healthy next week. Mm-hmm. That's my big thing. If we hear any major injury news on the guys, they're coming out. Denver's slotted in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if they return to that healthy format that they're where they're at, then they're back at that position.
It's back to being deadly.
Yeah, and so to me, in the hunt, you got the Broncos, and I mean, to most people, it's going to sound crazy because the Bills aren't in there. I think the Bills, the loss to the Eagles was the last step for them. I think they're just
too far gone in the season.
Yeah, and Josh Allen, anytime he gets in overtime, he's not winning. Bengals.
I wouldn't say it's the worst in NFL history for any QB.
The Bengals are out. Jake, with Browning back there, they're done. And other than that, there's no one to talk about. Chargers? No, not even close. Chargers.
Colts, you could talk about the Colts.
Colts, yes, but Gardner Minshew's their QB. I know they've been good, but I think they've also just been getting some lucky wins.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I mean, they beat Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay's been so hit or miss. They're either on it or they're off.
Absolutely.
So that sums up my top, my playoff seeding. Now the question is, who's your AFC champion?
Well, I really see it being a game between Kansas City and the Ravens.
Okay.
Of course.
All right.
And, it's going to be a battle of the defenses, but it's more importantly going to be if Lamar is healthy, Patty Mahomes is healthy, who can just make more happen.
Yeah. Got to give one, though.
Got to give one. And at that point, you got to say, Kansas City just always finds a way to win.
That is true.
But then again, you also got to say, the Ravens can run the ball at you any way they want to at any point in the game in so many different levels. And with Odell Beckham coming alive, I think I'm going to have to squeak it by the Ravens. I think it'll be like a 21-17, 17-14 type win where it's not a high-scoring game, very close game. Yeah. It's a field goal game.
And to sum it up, I agree.
Yeah.
I got the Ravens champions here. Yeah. I just, at the end of the day, that team's it's elite team.
Yeah.
Lamar is playing the top of his level that he's played
absolutely.
At. The run game's absolutely elite. The defense, we talk about the Browns defense. You got to look at the Ravens defense too.
Yep, absolutely.
So even with Mark Andrews being out, if Lamar stays healthy, I think the Ravens take the game. They
shouldn't have a problem.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. All right.
Good talk.
There's our AFC playoff picture predictions.
We'll see how true these are.
We'll see at the end of the season if anybody's pulling their hair out or praising us.
We may have just jinxed multiple teams.
Yeah.
We do have that luck.
Who knows?
As long as we don't play sports bets on them.
Yeah.
We're not going to ruin their chances.
We're going to be good. All right. Good talk.
Good talk.